is awesome. You can solve systems of equations via the use of a determinant. Now, I know that in the past we've done systems of equations by elimination or substitution. It's not a big deal. What I'm going to show you guys is how you can use a determinant with small systems to start with, and then build into the more complex systems, like 4x4s and 5x5s. By using a determinant, you can do it really, really, really quickly. So, let's look at what's called Kramer's rule.
No.
I'm going to start calling you Q-tip, I think. So, that's why I had Q-tip, because I called the kid Q-tip for the longest time, because he did exactly what he did, just asked the same question. And then we had to wait a long time until I called him Q-tip kid, and hence the Q-tip prop showed up. Besides the point. Anywho, Kramer's rule. Kramer's rule is ridiculously easy to work with. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how this goes through. What you get is a linear system, and this works for 2 by 2, like 2 equations, 2 variables, 3 equations, 3 variables, and so on. The matrices just get larger. What I'm going to say here is that I'm going to take the coefficients of the system here. That's the first step that you do, including their signs. A lot of times people will forget the sign values, okay? The positives and negatives. So what you do is you take your coefficients, and we create a coefficient matrix. And it'll be 2, 1, 3, -2. That's your coefficient matrix. You okay with that? Yeah. All right. Now, I'm going to flip to the next section. It's got some more steps to it. I have this, it's still on the next page, so it's no big deal. All right. So like I said, we have this matrix, which was 2, 1, 3, -2. Now, using Kramer's rule says find the determinant of your coefficient matrix. So find the determinant of this right away. That's easy. -4 -3. Okay with that? So the first step you do is you find the determinant of your coefficient matrix. Now, what I want you to do is your two solutions you have are 1 and -23. When you want to solve for x, the value of x is going to be the determinant of the original matrix goes in the denominator. Okay. The numerator, you're going to find another determinant. And what you do is you put your solutions, what it's telling you the answers have to be, in for the variable column that you're solving for. I'm solving for the x variables, so I'm going to put my solutions here, and then I repeat the y column as it was earlier, and I find that determinant. Remember, determinants are very easy to find. We get -2 minus -23, which is what?
21.
It's 21. What's 21 divided by -7?
-3.
There's x. And then you do the exact same thing for y. Instead of putting in for the x column the solutions, where am I going to put the solutions? In the y column.
But when you find x, can you not just put it back in the equation?
You can, but what I'm going to try and get you guys to do is do it both ways so you keep the idea of where it's going to go. All right. So the y value is the determinant. Well, 2 and 3 was the original. Oops. And now it's 1 and -23 here. And it's still divided by -7. You see how it's a very easy way to use a determinant to solve a system? Especially prior to, knowing how to do a lot of weird stuff. So you get negative 40, was it negative 46 minus 3?
7.
So you get negative 49 over negative 7, you get
7.
So your solution is negative 3 and 7. Slick. I like that. Yeah, like, what I'm doing here, since I'm solving for the y variable, I take the solution matrix, the column, the solution column, that 1 and negative 23, and I'm putting it in for the y values. I'm keeping the original x values from the original matrix there. The solutions are the only things that move. They replace x's when you're solving for x. They replace y's when you're solving for y's. They'll replace z's when you're solving for z's. They'll replace w's if you're solving for w's. You can have multiple columns by doing all these determinants. It's a real fast way to solve systems. Yes, ma'am.
So, you would never
A needle
have,
pulling thread?
like, we had 3 of them, like,
Thank you. What's
I
that?
don't know what you said. If you had 3, so you have like a 3 by 3 then? And then you do it 3 times?
Yeah.
You have a 1? Oh, we can do that.
Probably.
Well, we have to solve systems like 4.
Why not?
It's a waste of
I'm good with 2.
Wait. Can you go back?
Whoa.
That was fun.
Coffee's over there. Made good coffee today. Toasted southern pecan. It's quite delicious.
You always like sugar bear, I love to smell it, and I'm always hungry in this hour. So excited for breakfast, so
Let's good thing it's stuck over here now. You're just getting walk. Alright, you alright? Alright. Do the same idea. Same idea. First thing you do is you take the coefficients and you're going to create a matrix from the coefficients of the system. Find its determinant right away. So we're going to find the determinant of 8, 5, 2, negative 4. Negative 32 minus 10, negative 42.
Yeah.
All right with that? Okay. To solve for x, where do I put my solutions?
In the X column.
In the x column, so it's 2, negative 10, 5, and negative 4. And what do I have to divide that by?
Negative 42.
So we have negative 8 minus 50.
No, wouldn't it be plus 50?
No, it's
minus.
subtracting the negative.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what he did.
Negative makes it positive.
What am I
42 over the
doing?
negative 42.
Yep. Sorry, I
It's okay.
did the wrong thing.
That's all right. It's all right.
No, I heard you wrong.
And then where do I put the 2 and negative 10 when I solve for y?
In the
On the other
Y
side.
On the
column.
other side. What's wrong? Emma?
Oh, I didn't make it negative.
Got it?
Sorry.
I wanted to.
What was it? 8 and 2?
Where?
X, Y, Z.
What time?
In plus.
So we have negative 80 minus 4, so it's negative 84 over negative 42.
Are we at summer homework?
Oh,
Wait, what the heck?
Hey, guess what? I just talked to Miss Denny, and she said that it looks like for honors they'll have summer homework.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm done now.
You guys aren't going to look at it until like 2 days before school anyway, so take your wine. What's up, Michael? know you guys are really excited about that. It's just algebra work. It's something that should be.
Wait, so we both have to know how to
Honors will be the first year that they have the honors stuff. You're going to be able to start a lot further than you normally would in a 3-top class, and just go a little bit further into it. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. The honors pre-calc is going to get into a lot more in-depth stuff. It'll prep you for the calc, but it'll probably prep you more for the BC AP test as opposed to the AP. There's two different versions of an AP test for calc. You've got the hard test and then the really hard test.
Oh, AP and BC.
Wait, when would the meeting be?
I don't know. I don't think they have an AP calc meeting. And that's not
I mean,
for 2
like,
years.
the pre-count to get the,
I don't know. Whenever Miss Denny gives it to me.
okay.
Or do you want to have a meeting? Do you guys want to meet her? I'll check and see if she's busy.
No, usually that's what they do, so.
Destiny. Yeah. Yeah, I should have it done by the end of the week. By the end of the week. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the final. All right, so let's just jump right to the 3x3. This is where the determinants become a lot easier to use. I know you guys probably could have done substitution elimination to solve a 2x2 system. It's rather easy to do that. What gets weird is when you start to, I shouldn't say weird, but it becomes so much easier to use determinants when you have the larger. Because I know that when you're solving a system that has 3 variables, 3 equations, it's so easy to get lost in a setup. It's so easy to get lost in what variable you're eliminating and whatnot. Whereas when you're working with determinants, it's just multiplying and adding. Okay. So hopefully multiplying and adding is a little bit less brain taxing than trying to set up, row swap equations where you have to multiply 1 by 2, add it to the other, eliminate this. It just becomes a pain. Yeah. Column. Remember, row your boat across. The columns hold you up and down. And so the columns were on the ground, there would be no building. And
No, I just, because I didn't think if I did the X's like position or put in order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't do that. So my coefficient matrix is going to be 1, 2, -3, 1, -1, 1, 3, 4, -4. And what do you think I'm going to do to that coefficient matrix right away? Find the determinant. So downward diagonals, we have 4. 2, 1, and 3 is 6. -3, 1, and 4 is -12. So I get -2 for that. Upper, I have 9. 4.
What?
Oh, I did the
-4
other one.
and -8. So you get 5. So I have a determinant of -7. Everybody okay with that? Yeah. All right. So now, where do you think the solutions are going to go to solve for x?
The x column.
Where do you think the solutions are going to go for the y's?
The y.
Where do you think the solutions are going to go for the z's? And what are you going to divide it all by? Do it. We'll check our answers in a minute.
Wait,
So much for room.
I thought you said it was -2. I'm confused. Okay.
Can you tap into
What I'm doing here is I know that my x value is going to equal the determinant of, let me slide this back up. Our solution is -2, 1, and 4.
Put that in the X.
It's -2, -1, and +4, excuse me. And then the other ones are all going to be the same values. So it's going to be 2, -1, 4, -3, -4. I find that determinant and then I divide it by -7. I do the same idea for the y's, just moving it over. But it's a lot easier to multiply and add than it is to try to solve the system, isn't it? You guys are really good at complaining, yes.
Yes, we are.
It's like you guys are all going to go to college and get a BS and BS.
I don't get it.
Pretty much.
Bachelor's of Science in bullshnikes.
I still don't get it. Oh. Hey, what's a bachelor's of science? I don't understand.
It's a degree. It's
Okay.
you get a.
What grade was Why?
Negative 2 is you have -8. 2, 1, 4 is 8. 3 and
I got 0.
12.
Oh, I see what I did. I put 4 and then a -4.
Why? Wait, oh,
This is already
I
negative
have 12,
She's on
-8, and 8.
No, this is,
I got 0 for X. Okay? Do the whole same thing again for Y.
Sounds like
Woo woo. Y. Jared, this is easy. It just looks weird. Take the determinant. So we have 1, 1, 3, -2, -1, and 4. -3, 1, and -4.
oh, it's -4? Gosh darn it. Oh my God,
So here's your setups for Y and Z, I believe. Figure them out. We'll check them in a minute. Yes, ma'am. Let's see. 4, 6, 3.
Oh, yes. Front, yeah, it's right in front.
9, 4, 8,
Yeah,
12, 21.
that's fine.
So did you get a determinant of 7 divided by -7? So you got -1?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I told you.
Whoa!
That's what I did.
Izzy and I got the same thing.
Hey, you messed up. I did that too. It's all right. You messed up. It's
Oh, I didn't subtract them. I didn't subtract them.
That's what I did.
Wait, why? It's -5. Oh, shoot. No, 5.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
you guys.
They call
I got this.
Wait, is it?
It's -14 minus 8.
How is that positive nine?
That was just-
Yeah.
Why? Why should I get positive nine plus 4 plus 8? I got negative.
Upward, you have 3.
One's negative. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's that little, and that's the whole thing here. It's that little attention to detail. You'll miss that little part, and it just throws the whole thing off. So let's see if I can do Z correctly. If I can map this right. -4, -6, -8. So that's -18.
Yeah.
Going up,
That's what I
we have 6, -4, and 8.
Yeah.
So it's -10. I get 4?
Yeah.
Yay! What'd I do wrong, Hannah?
This would be a lot easier if I wrote bigger.
I'm telling you, no, right? Waste space. I mean, you're not going to reuse this notebook next year. I got extra paper. Kill the trees!
No, you gave me like a whole stack.
Mr. Murphy, I know you already said this, but how many pre-calcs do you have next year? One, and same with Montana?
Days that though.
No, he has to.
Oh.
Let's do this. So it's the same page. It is 219.
To make this one very simple.
43 and 45. Yeah.
I always do that.
That's enough, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can finish all that.
Pace yourself. I'll take a picture and throw it up on the board here in a second. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you did? Nice. Nicely done.
I mean, I can see why. But like, we couldn't find anyone that was. So I know that like Maddie.
There you go.
Yo, Colin, are we winning?
No.
At least how many attempts?
Do those 5 instead. That way you have cleaner numbers. I'll put those. Let me re-put those back up.
Can I grab a piece of number paper?
48.
No, wait, never mind.
You're a real champ, girl. Like, no one likes you.
Alright. I
So for those of you guys that just took a picture, like Ben, not only are you suspended, but I changed the problems because those were just awful. So you might want to re-picture that. Emma,